All I need is one mic. That's all I need.
In my nightmares, I still see her, stretched out on the gurney in a hospital gown, wrapped up in a shawl of shame. If she could be awake instead of comatose, it'd be her invisibility cloak. Pain embroidered brooch wrapped around the torn tatters of her mother's heart scorn. She's a post-apocalyptic Raggedy Ann doll that's been tossed around too many damn times with patchwork activists trying to sue into her mind that the assault was never her fault. I wonder what she'll think of us when the anesthesia finally wears off. True story, never truly reported. 15-year-old girl beaten and raped for 2.5 hours at a high school in California. Left to the antics of stinging ant bites and adolescent antics of her friends who were nothing more than lemmings leaving their leers upon her as it happened, and took action by not doing a fucking thing. I want you all right now. Close your eyes. Picture your daughter being the circumference center of crazed Wolverines, strengthened by sips of Jesus juice, snorting hits of ground up penis powder. Would have beat her louder if it could have pushed the fetus out her. I see her laying on the gravel, body now broken as the gravel that lays under her, defiled with nothing more than stares coming down from her, from the people that she said were her friends, leaving her to drown in her own solitude of denial and sorrow. Can you see her? I see them, taking turns beating then skeeting facials over her now tainted soul, iodized salt into every open wound, Thunderbird malt liquor poured over every orifice, strumming their pricks, tuned like instruments, trying to change her high school musical into crescendos Ron Jeremy wouldn't dare try to get off to. I see her, can you? Because in my nightmares sometimes I really want to see the parents who allow their child to grow up thinking it's okay to put vice grip chokeholds around a woman's throat just because she told him no. I'm telling you directly, if you've ever done this before, my message to you is simply, I think your secretions are trying to bleach from your own fear and loathing of becoming nothing more than a discharge of your father's dick disease. I see you acting like you're grown men. Cowards mimicking Nino Brown, empowered by your own false manhood. I see her face washed in crimson-tide mascara. I see circumcised battering rams trying to break down her sugar walls. I see screams dissipating in the vapors amongst the crowd that was too blind to hear her cries just to have a Colt 45 Calgon moment in the hopes it would take her away. You're wondering why I'm upset about a young girl I've never even met, but she was passed around like Philly Blunt White Owls, exchanged that hand-me-down clothing between siblings, left to bathe in the blood moon's afterglow of her innocence being stolen for 2.5 fucking hours. She was forced to model a semen-stained gown of sodomy with screams as her pearl-matching earrings, watching her innocence being torn away, and we as society turned a blind eye while stabbing out the other because it's the best way we handle this type of ignorance. Why care about a child you never met when the new reality show is previewing? I still see her in my nightmares, laying on the gurney in the hospital room, wrapped up in a shawl of shame. If she were awake and not comatose, it'd be her invisibility cloak. And I wonder what she would think of all of us when the anesthesia finally wears off. In the mid-2000s, a hurricane named Katrina slammed into the Gulf Shore, displacing millions and killing almost an entire city. It came down here, and I remember it because it was when I first started growing out my dreads, wondering why people would always ask me, first off, are you from New Orleans? And seeing the look on their face as I replied, no, I'm from Houston. And seeing how they treated people from over there. At the same time, while researching for a mix CD me and my former roommate were doing, he brought to my attention a video from CNN. It was a feed of a town hall meeting in West University telling the Katrina refugees to go home. I've grown older, and I don't write about politics, religion, or race. Yeah, they know what was about to happen. But I had to finally have my say one time at such ignorance that any race will show to another one. This is called How to Best Serve Man. No culinary skills are needed. It's a simple recipe. You preheat tensions to 450 degrees, separates the solids from the soiled. Slathered with gravy-trained inherences, suburbia can easily self-sustain its addiction to its gluttony with salad bar greed and appetizers of not in my backyard. Your main ingredients? Catastrophes of a catastrophe. Spray basic, pray and play politics. Wag the dog to screw the pooch. Season salt to preserve the wounds. Blame the uninvited for interrupting your potluck suppers at communion at Lakewood. Begging for refuge from floodwater still churning to close over your flawed melting pot. Trust me, it doesn't take long for bitterness to bake. Bitterness to bake the frowns of tanning booth crispness that's just right. Let the sauce simmer for an entire summer. Crock-pot construction of Babel. Base the broken with gated community slogans of we want you to go back home. How dare they? Break your once-a-week tradition of jogging at Colonial Park. It must be heaven to afford the luxury of wrath while unwilling nomads search for survival in garbage dumpsters they can't afford to pass by. Sloth is easily served. Save the scraps for the Leviathan survivors. Doggy bags for those branded with Cain's mark, the nerve of them making your meal tickets nervous but within close range of breathing on your beamer. Grease the wheels of ignorance. Dove can't cut through this bullshit, constantly washing your hands, hoping a Tide bleed soapbox on CNN will tidy up the area once again within smart bombs of soap bubbles for ethnic cleansing. Dear West University, the Roman Empire is gone. Mount Olympus is fallen. Sodom and Gomorrah salted. You are not Houston's holy grail. You're just a continuous flawed attempt at creating the perfect melting pot. Sincerely, one of those people you think should go home.